So I bought a boat in San Diego. Now what? Actually, everything seemed really easy. I went through the process, didn't even have to be in state to do it. Just did everything electronically and everything digitally. Everything just went super smooth. Right to the marina where I was able to transfer the slip to my name from the original owners. Perfectly smooth. Well, till about 2 weeks later. About midway through the month, I get a call from the marina. The marina says, "Hey, we need you to vacate your slip immediately." I said, "What? Why?" They said, "Well, you're a liveaboard." I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. If somebody's living on my boat, they need to be off my boat. We're like, no, nobody's on your boat, but you're a liveaboard in Alaska, and we don't allow liveaboards. What? Yeah, no, that didn't make any sense to me either, but you have to have physical property in order to have your boat in the marina. Since I don't have physical property because I'm a liveaboard in Alaska, I'm considered a liveaboard down there as well. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense, but I had to vacate the boat. To the marina's credit, I will say this. They did work with me. I ended up getting 6 weeks rather than having to move it immediately, and that helped out a lot. So that's kind of how the boat ended up in Mexico. So the original plan was that I was going to take the boat up to Anacortes, Washington, so I could have it pulled out and put on the hard. I'd be able to fly down and work on it while it was down there. Problem was that this boat, it's not set up for single-handed sailing. I can't even do day sailing from one spot to another because the anchor is insufficient on this boat for really anchoring overnight. So I started looking for people to go with me to do the trip up north. Contacted a ton of people. I even posted online on some forums and things like that. I got the same feedback from about everybody. Going north up the coast in the fall sucks. Since I couldn't get anybody to go north, pretty much everybody I talked to couldn't go or couldn't allot the time or, well, really wouldn't go. What ended up happening was I started running out of time. As I started running out of time, I started looking at what can I do myself. So I decided to go take the boat from San Diego to Mexico. I actually had a great recommendation on a marina who recommended that I stay at Baja Naval down here. So that became my plan. Now there's a funny thing when you are going downwind to a place people want to go to. All of a sudden people were able to free up a bunch of time. When I posted that I was going to be heading down to Ensenada and bringing the boat down there, all of a sudden people started wanting to go. I ended up picking one of my friends, Tika, who I buddy boated with a lot while I was up in Alaska, and I even took sailing lessons with her down in Florida. So the day came and I flew down to San Diego. Tika has family in San Diego, so it actually worked out real well for her. So we made a few preparations with the boat, and the day finally came where it was ready to move. We decided to launch early in the morning because we figured it'd take about 10 or so hours to get down to Ensenada. And we are underway! Woo! I would have filmed the whole docking thing, but you know, that would have resulted in probably a nightmare. Just beyond that point there is the Pacific Ocean. Unfortunately, there was no wind on our trip, so we ended up not being able to sail. So we ended up motoring all the way down to Ensenada, but it was an enjoyable sail. Seas were pretty calm, and the boat seemed to handle it really good. So we headed south down the coast. We crossed over the US-Canadian border, according to the GPS anyways, and it wasn't but a few moments later that we see a swarm of dolphins just swimming for us. It was actually really cool to watch them come at us. A few of the dolphins broke away and rode the bow for a little bit, but most of them continued on the way, and the ones that did ride the bow, they didn't stay very long because they had to go catch their buddies. We continued on south, saw a lot of fish pens, commercial traffic and things like that. really didn't have any issues with anything as far as navigation, and the auto helm, well, it got its work out. The only hiccup with the trip was really with my cell service. At any rate, we made it down to Baja Naval, and just before they closed. So we were able to get into our dock and tied off. Because it was the weekend, really nobody was open. So we had a chance to be tourists a little bit before we had to do the paperwork. It was a nice quick trip, but it was over altogether too soon. Unfortunately, we were only down in Ensenada for a few days and then heading back up to San Diego. We took the bus north, and Tika was going to spend an extra day with her family. Surprised me was they invited me out to the ball game that night. So we went out to the Padres ball game, and it was a really nice night. But as always, the trip was over way too soon, and I was heading back to Alaska. The boat was nice and tied up in Ensenada, so I really didn't have any worries and was planning on going back midwinter, which is where I'm at now.